아프리카 TV 브레이크아웃 스튜디오 라이브 2020 GSL 시즌 코드 S 쇼다운.
What is up, everybody? We're back here at another day of GSL Code S, and this group is, this is a good one, man. We're in for a real treat.
Well, it truly is a group of death. Group D is like always a group of death for some reason.
Yeah.
It doesn't really make sense because like D is the first letter
It's
in death, so
convenient,
it's like
yeah.
Group D for death. Whoa, 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 but we say it every season. It
But
always happens to be.
Yeah, it turns out to be the case each time. So we're kind of ending this phase of the tournament on a high note here.
Oh, for sure. I want to re-say what I just put on Twitter. There's 9 championships in this group.
Yeah.
That is, think about that, 9 GSL Code S championships, which is 3 full years of GSL Code S.
Yes.
These 4 players, and actually only 3 of them, took up 3 full years of championships from us.
It's funny as well because in the previous group, Group C, we had, I want to make sure I get this number correct, 9
second places. Something like that, yeah.
Yes.
That was so funny.
Anyways, here's our lineup for the round of 8. Of course, after we finish today, we will have the complete lineup for the round of 8. But we do have a guarantee to Dark versus TY and Deer versus Cure.
Yeah, and we're going to be pulling a couple players out of this group. Likely at least one Terran player. I'd be pretty surprised if neither makes it out.
Another feature that appears to probably be the case is the 1 Zerg here in the round of 8. We've got a quick video, guys, that we start our show.
일단 저그 선수 생각 중이라서
네.
아직 고민 중이.
오. 어디서?
이미 정한 같은데.
아 진짜 어디서요? 와 신이범이었어요. 와 신이범 선수님 바로 뽑아버렸습니다.
근데 예측하고 있었어요.
아 예측하고 있었어요?
괜찮고 그리고 저번에도 제가 8강 갔을 때 뒤졌거든요.
네.
준비기가 많아가지고 괜찮을 것 같아요.
아 예 알겠습니다. 신이범 선수에게 마이크 넘겨보도록 하겠습니다.
네.
조성주 선수 어떤 이야기를 했습니까?
형들은 워낙 잘하니까 그냥
오.
제가 뽑고 싶은 사람 뽑으라고 했어요. 그냥 전 이사경을 한 번도 뽑고 싶은데 너무 싫어하더라고요.
아 원희삭을?
저는 진짜 C조로 너무 가고 싶거든요.
아 C조?
근데 제가 D조로 가면 진짜 목숨 걸고 게임 연습만 할 거거든요. 저를 뽑는 것보다 약간 이제 교과서적인 프로토스,
야!
백동준, 김대엽.
그냥 이삭이 뽑아서 그냥 포트로시 받고 이기면 될 것 같은데.
와!
어떻게 해서든지 들어가기 싫어가지고 그러는 것 같아가지고
네.
오히려 더 뽑았으면 좋겠어요.
와 원희삭 뽑아라.
마음은 가는데 너무 미안해요.
아 미안해요?
아니 네, 워낙 친해가지고 그것 때문에 좀 미안한데 근데 테란 유저 분들 중에선 뭐 없나요? 네, 듣고 싶어가지고.
테란?
일단 성주랑도 하기도 싫고 마지막에 만약에 신영이 형 나오면은 태태전이 너무 많아서 좀 위험 부담이 좀 많이 있는 것 같아요. 뭐 저는 어차피 D조라서 세 번째는 그냥 좀 쉬운 상대가 가면 더 좋을 것 같아요.
아 그럼 마지막에 갔으면 좋겠다.
안 가면 좋게 하죠. 될 것 같아요.
아 안 가면 좋겠다.
그냥 제가
미안해요?
빡세게 하겠습니다.
설마!
와!
그렇죠. 이래야 재밌죠.
근데 신영이한테 요즘 당한 게 좀 많아가지고 좀 한번 혼내주고 싶긴 했는데
네.
이번에 좀 혼내주고 싶네요.
라운드 오브 16 마루, 조성주, 라그나로, 신이범, 이노베이션, 이신영, 제스트, 주성.
That was the greatest thing I've ever seen. That is the pinnacle of our show.
That's the best thing ever. We should shut it down.
Yeah, I was gonna say StarCraft 2 was all to lead up to that moment.
It really was.
All right.
Oh my God! I can't believe they did the coffin dance with this. It was perfect. I love when the music starts playing when the show starts again, and like, you know what's coming.
So good.
Oh my God! But look at that. Look how many championships and second places, even a couple in there. This group is ridiculous.
So I was mentioning before we threw that video up there. Right now, Dark is the only Zerg in the top 8.
Yeah.
And RagnaroK is the only Zerg now left in the tournament. This is, of course, the last day of the round of 16. And
yeah.
Chances are almost zero that RagnaroK gets out. That'd be great if he did, but I mean, I think
It's tough.
any reasonable person says it's going to be a long shot for someone like him. So very high chance there's only one Zerg in the round of 8, but of course Dark, former world champion. I'll take that Zerg if any.
Sure, yeah, it's a good point there. Maru has to be considered the favorite of the group. Currently, Terrans are doing pretty well. Maru is still the best Terran in the world, no doubt about that. Yeah, kind of expecting him to crush through.
Now, Maru has had so much success lately. He's just such a strong player. He really, I think this is fair to say, he really does not have any weaknesses, and he seems to be so much more robust than the other Terrans in the Supreme late game.
Yeah, he's ridiculous in that way. Yeah.
He is absolutely out expanding, sometimes even Zergs in late game, where he's up an expansion or two.
Absolutely, absolutely. He's
which is pretty crazy.
One of the few that will actually pull that off.
I might be wrong in making this call, but I think it is safe to say RagnaroK will probably try to do something like a timing here, something to end the game. I don't imagine RagnaroK wants to go toe-to-toe in a macro game, but we'll see.
His macro games have gotten a lot better.
Sure.
I think anything you do against Maru is very hard to pull off.
Yeah.
And I think that that's the real roadblock in this group for him. I think he has a better shot against Innovation and a reasonable shot against Zest, even though I would still favor Zest of it. But
yeah,
don't count RagnaroK completely out. He's gotten a lot better. He's strong at each portion of the game nowadays.
Sure.
And if he plays his best games, he does have a shot to get out of this group. It's not super high, but like the shot is there. It's, you know.
All right, map 1 on Nightshade. Maru vs. RagnaroK starts now.
전투 준비 완료. 진에어 그랜 횡자 마루 조성주. 라그나로크 신이범.
Right. Let's see what RagnaroK thinks is his best chance here. Look at this,
Wow.
11-1. Holy God.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I knew it would be very Maru favored when we finally got to saw the match history, but that's even better than I thought it would be.
Well, yeah, and it makes sense too, because Maru has been a top-tier Terran basically, like, since what, Heart of the Swarm, I guess?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a very good Terran before that, but I would say probably right around Heart of the Swarm. I don't remember the exact date, but it was basically like him and Innovation rising to the top of Terrans very, very long ago. Whereas RagnaroK, it's much more recently, like last year, he really started to find his stride. And before that, he was just this cheesy, crappy Zerg, like doing, I remember like when SSL was still around, he would just be like, all right, fill up my overlords with queens and lings, let's go.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was just like, oh, RagnaroK, you're so bad. But nowadays, I mean, he's playing some strong StarCraft. He kind of reminds me of Leenock, where he's come out of this little rut where we don't expect anything of him into a player that has potential to beat everybody, you know?
I totally agree.
Now, he's not favored to win GSL like Leenock was.
Yeah.
But
there's characteristics of certain players where, okay, they're good, but they try to rely more on just winning really, really quickly. usually due to an inability to keep up in late game. But I think you're right. RagnaroK's really improved, and I think he's a player we're going to continue to see grow and improve as each season at GSL continues on. But it's just hard to imagine, at least for me, what a game looks like where RagnaroK ever overpowers Maru.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine.
And one of the things about Maru, I mean, let's not forget when he basically revolutionized the way we viewed proxies in StarCraft 2 is something that was not even really risky anymore.
Yeah.
He'll do that, and he doesn't even have to play like that. I mean, there was I think a whole year he was proxying almost more than he was making stuff inside of his base.
Yeah.
And succeeding with it. I mean, Maru, I think, is not just able to play all parts of the game. He's able to perfectly play all types of games, which is what makes him so scary. I mean, a guy that knows every decision tree in every possible proxy in every matchup, but also can just expand and not be aggressive at all and then be ahead of you that way is insanely terrifying.
Yeah, and I think we should also, a good way to kind of quantify this is even during the most broken metagames where it's like Infestor Broodlord seems unbeatable, Maru's the only player that can really play against it, right?
Yeah.
And then you have something like this where Zergs are actually taking a turn down, right? They've had a little bit of nerfs, Terrans have a little bit of buffs. This is going to make Maru even more scary. And then I also think back to the one thing, when you said, what does it look like for RagnaroK to overpower Maru? And then I think to myself, what's the most overpowering composition where suddenly you can have someone overpower someone that they shouldn't have?
Yeah.
And Ling Bane Hydra came to mind, but it's not as good or as popular anymore. And then I remember Maru overpowering Su, who is like the best macro Zerg ever, going Ling Bane Hydra, and Maru did not even make tanks.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well, actually, you're right. Overpowering Maru is not something that occurs.
There's not a game where you're like, he just doesn't have enough, and watch Maru gets completely swamped in Zerg units. Not usually the case.
Yeah,
it's basically not ever the case.
A lot of things have to go wrong with him. We were joking during his championship run where it's like, well, it wasn't even joking, it was an apt description, that when Maru's ahead, the game's over. When he's even with you, he's ahead, and when he's behind, he's even with you.
Yeah.
Like that's how it is with him. Like that's the way to commentate Maru, because like any other Terran you look in that position, you'd be like, oh no, they're really behind. It's like no, Maru's even right now.
Yeah,
okay, and he'll probably outplay you from here.
There's probably a high chance he'll catch up.
Yeah.
So we have the Hellions coming forward now. It's one of the many ways to open his Terran. In this case, the Banshee will come in and try to kill drones while the Hellions try to control the growth of the creep on the map. When you do see this style of play, though, the Terran has not invested that much in Marines early on. So sometimes the core of the push can be a little bit softer.
And we see what RagnaroK has chosen here, and I think it'll probably work out pretty well for him. He's gone double Evo very quickly, which is nice. So his upgrades are just slightly ahead of Maru's, and all this means is he won't be fighting at an upgrade deficit at any point, and that's very, very important when you're going Ling Bane. We'll see if he adds any tech. Obviously there's 3 different choices with Ling Bane right now. Just staying on Ling Bane and rushing up to Hive, Ling Bane with Hydra, and Ling Bane with Muta.
Right.
So, I mean, all of them are viable in their own ways.
Would you say that Ling Bane Muta is probably the overall most robust?
I think that Ling Bane Hydra is a little bit more robust. I think Ling Bane Muta takes a lot more skill to play, but has better potential.
I think it gives you the option to eliminate the metavacs once you've actually started to win a fight. I think it allows you to punish further.
Yeah, but I think just straight up Ling Bane can be a very good kind of
Sure.
I like the way that straight Ling Bane into Ultra plays out a lot of the time, but you have to be so on top of your macro for that. You miss any injects, you may as well just exit. Don't even wait for the push.
Okay, speaking of push, it looks like we're going to see the beginnings of that here with Maru moving out on the map. There's plenty of Banes being made, though, so he could be ready for this.
And his 1-1 just finished, right?
Yeah.
So even though Maru is... Well, Maru's actually not quite at 1-1. He's getting into position for this. As Bane's speed finishes, he's going to roll through this Maru attack. There's no way he's losing this hash. No way on Earth. But look at those Hellions. I love where he has those.
Yeah, that'll be able to catch Banes if they come around from that angle here. I think he's almost anticipating.
look at all these Lings. They're like going for a counterattack or something. If he loses this hatch, like he does not need to lose this hatch.
Oh, he does not get the wall in up. Okay, that's pretty huge.
Big move.
Yeah. And these Lings are actually split almost perfectly.
Yeah.
I mean, he's hitting both of these bases. In fact, Maru's sieging up the siege tank, which will only be completely smothered with Lings. There it is.
Dude, he is
destroyed now. This
wrecking
is
with
actually.
this.
There was a play that RagnaroK needed to pull off to get into a position where he could then pull this with a win. This is it.
Well, he loses the hatch for it, but it did a lot, right? 26 SCVs. I guess he didn't lose too many of his other units because he never fully engaged into that, into the push of Maru. But yeah, he did lose that 4th base, which, I mean, that can be a very critical thing.
The push is going to continue on here, though, even though there's been a lot of units lost, especially workers back home. For Maru, Maru's push is still as strong as ever. That was a lot of Lings that were sacrificed into SCVs to try to balance things out economically, but Maru still is the player with more muscle on the map.
Look at this, he's sending another group out right now. His new 4th got canceled. He's taking his old 4th location once again. Very interesting way he's chosen to play this, but look at this. Maru just keeps walking back and forth. He wants to just cancel these bases over and over. Okay, it looks like he's going to finally jump on top. He flanks with those Lings that went out for harassment, so looks like he will chase everything back.
Nice targeting there by Maru, actually shooting down about 4 or 5 of the Banes before picking up to then relocate his army. This game is actually much closer than I thought. It does seem like Maru is still slightly in the lead here.
Yeah, it does seem that way. Just losing that 4th hatchery was a bit painful, but I like that RagnaroK is taking the fight to Maru in some of these situations as well. He tries to get rid of those rocks, does do so. Nice surround here.
Good pickups there by Maru. Yeah, having that more open is going to be a lot nicer for the Zerg when they try to dive in on any of these pushes that are going to be coming here. And it really is paramount that Zerg does not lose that hatchery. That's the most forward location, the most pushable spot here.
Yeah, he can't lose it again. Like, he actually needs a 4th base. He can't be playing Ling Bane forever on 3 base.
A very slow way that Zergs can fizzle out is to just lose their 4th over and over.
Oh, yeah.
And it's, you know.
It's kind of like the crucial point in a lot of games.
Yeah, it actually, I think, I guess even
once upon a
Protoss,
time, it was the only thing that mattered, was killing the 4th base in TVZ.
Yeah. I think now the game's a little bit more complex. It's been more developed. But yeah, I mean, basically it was like, if you can stop this base, then pretty much you can boil this game down to that moment.
Yeah, that's kind of funny. It's actually exactly the same in StarCraft 1 as well.
Yeah.
TVZ is all about denying the 4th base.
Yeah. So same with Protoss is that you can fight them on 3 bases, but really when the 4th is coming down, it's like, we got to push in and stop.
It's a weird thing that stays true across the matchups and across the games.
Yeah, in StarCraft 1 to StarCraft 2.
All right, well, Maru going ahead and getting a little drop-off. Some nicely placed spores do help to shut that down a little bit more quickly. Still doing a bit of damage. Stims in here to that 3rd base location. Oh, no. Things are going wrong for RagnaroK right now.
Maru with the multitasking looking just excellent here.
Ooh, poor Raggy. This is looking tough. He has no real Hive tech as of yet. Just starts his 3-3, but it's quite a bit behind Maru's at this point. His Hive was a little bit late for his build. He's added a couple Vipers. He is getting Adrenal, but none of that's really ready yet.
Yeah, I gotta say, Maru is just perfect at targeting those Banes.
Yeah, he's pretty darn good.
It's pretty crazy. And, you know, although RagnaroK doesn't look bad, look at this. I mean, the cost efficiency here from Maru is insane. And you can see him catapult it further and further ahead in supply here. I think we're close to the killing blow.
Yeah, you could be right about that. Now, he does have a couple Vipers in here. Not that many Baneleys, though. And this base looks like it's going to fall. RagnaroK is just being suffocated at this point.
Yeah, RagnaroK is right now on 3 bases. There is a 4th being remade over right over here. Oh my gosh, and now Maru's picked up everything and is going to just fly in here over to the natural. And you can use these minerals to get in the way of the Lings, and the Banes are going to try to come in here and help out. And yeah, I mean, this is just too much.
Yeah, he gets rid of all the medevacs, and I guess he will clean that up, but there's so many units marching across the map right now. There's no real chance for RagnaroK to hang on in this game, I think.
Yeah, 3-3 is about to finish, and this base that was just rebuilt over here up in the north is probably going to be taken out again here, especially with these Marauders over in the front to soak Baneling hits.
Wow, he cleans that really well. He definitely did a very good job that fight.
Color me surprised. I did not expect that to go as well for the Zerg, but again, Maru's still ahead in every on every metric.
He is definitely still ahead, and he's up 2 upgrades still. We're waiting for those to finish up. Chitinous plating is on the way as well. RagnaroK's creep spread is reasonable in front of most of his bases, so that's like a plus. Especially with these fast-moving armies, right? Maru's kind of popping up everywhere, so he needs to get his Ling Bane in there, and he can't be losing any more hatches.
All right, another attack in over here. Now, you know, RagnaroK had a really good engagement before.
That mine hit! Oh!
That was crazy. GG.
Oh, he tried to split off some Banes, but it hit like the middle of the main pack.
Now, I will tell you a couple things about that series we just saw. A, RagnaroK tried to play straight up against Maru. And B, he didn't look that bad.
No, he looked pretty good, and I like that he gave himself a shot. He tried to buy time with mass transfuses on his 4th while running the Lings around, and that did a lot of damage. If he could have done that and held the 4th, which I think he just barely could not, he didn't have enough Lings to help soak for the Banes.
Yeah, I totally agree.
That could have been very RagnaroK favored at that point.
The counter was good. He just needs to hold. And you know, Maru, I think, was willing to take the trade of losing the workers to have enough of an army to keep pushing.
Sure. Well, any trade you give him, he knows what to do with it.
Yeah, he's very comfortable in every situation.
Yeah.
Map number 2 will be on Everdream. Again, Maru, one of the greatest Terrans in all of the, 22 years of StarCraft. This guy is a king. Going up against RagnaroK, who's been steadily improving, but clearly the underdog. I'd say not just to the round of 16, well, not just Group D, I should say, but of the round of 16. He's definitely, you know, one of the lower tier players, but he's holding his own.
Sure.
Let's see if he can pull it together as we go into Game 2. Otherwise, Maru goes to the winner match of Group D.
전투 준비 완료. 진에어 그랜윙이자 마루, 조성주. 라그나로크, 신이범.
Mar versus Rag.
Yep. Little Raggy over here. We'll see what he can do. He's really searching for the proxy barracks.
Well, this is
almost a mind game for Maru to not have proxy
I
barracks
was
yet.
gonna say, like, even for me as a commentator, I was thinking as we were loading the game up, he'll probably make barracks now in the middle of the map. This is so typical.
Even after a victory, it's like he does it at a higher rate than anybody.
Yeah.
Well, doesn't do it this time. The drone scout finds nothing. Yeah, I did like how RagnaroK played that, though. I think he played a very strong game. Many a lesser Terran would have not held on there.
Oh, yeah. And so this game seems like Maru's playing pretty normal. Yeah. Nothing too crazy so far here. I think after a game like that, like Game 1, where you just, again, overpower them, your pushes are too strong, and you eventually topple the Zerg, I think you're probably feeling relaxed, you're probably feeling comfortable. I am curious to see what kind of playstyle RagnaroK is going to do. If RagnaroK really feels that he sees what he did wrong back there and he can come in here with a better playstyle, or what?
Well, what Maru did in the last game rotates in and out of the meta, but is generally one of the safer, greedy builds in TVZ to go Reactor Hellion into your third command, into Banshee.
Right.
It's like what Innovation did for 2 years straight, basically. Right. Where, like, if you think you're better than your opponent, that's a pretty damn good build, right? So I wonder if he's going to do it again here. I only see one gas, so I think the answer is yes from Maru. And from RagnaroK's point of view, if there wasn't a proxy barracks, is it probably this build again? I would say so, right? Maybe you can have some sort of counter.
Yeah, maybe.
And there it is, third command.
So, again, from RagnaroK, I mean, again, we've seen this dance a million times in TVZ, but he's going to keep trying to push his creep out, tech up, get the drones that are necessary to get him into a good spot this game. You know, looking back on the last game, I don't know. I mean, obviously you don't want to lose your 4th base, but I don't really see the big thing that RagnaroK did wrong. Was it like he sent too many lings in the counterattack, and therefore he didn't quite have enough to drive him away?
I think that's it, because most of his army at home was just Banes, and that can be out microed. You need a mixture of Ling Bane.
Yeah.
So that if they are trying to target down Banes, for instance, the Lings are doing enough damage to break through. So yeah, I think he sent maybe just slightly too many Lings. Because again, if he broke the push that was on his 4th during that counterattack, you have to give him the lead.
We've even seen concepts like this in PvT, for instance, when the Protoss counterattacks with Zealots. Is like now, like the best players, it's like 3 Zealots killing SCVs.
Ah, yes.
Where it used to be 12 or something.
Yeah, you used to just be like, here's a lot of Zealots, but Terrans will kill you nowadays.
Yeah, because then you don't have enough Zealots back at home with your main army if they're going to push you to actually soak up damage.
Yeah, and I think that definitely had to be part of that, right? If he sends half as many Lings, maybe he doesn't kill 25 SCVs, right? Maybe he kills 18 SCVs, but maybe he holds his 4th. These are, it's like dials that you can push up and down. Everything's kind of related to each other and interconnected, and that's part of the beauty of StarCraft and why it's so damn complex.
Yeah, there's truly a balancing act that has to occur here. It's not simply the concepts of, oh, he counterattacked, and then you can really fine-tune the math. And I think maybe that was just too many Lings there.
Yeah. Well, it guaranteed a lot of damage. And if Maru hadn't been controlling so cleanly on his push, again, I think a lot of Terrans won't be able to break that 4th still.
And by the way, so far in this game, the themes coming from Terran are the same.
Yes.
Hellions coming out here. I think that at this point in time, Maru, maybe this is a super meta thing, but knowing that Dark is going to be watching these and has to prepare for all the other players, he might want to bring the most like vanilla, milquetoast, TVP ladder or TVC ladder build.
I think he wants to do that anyways.
You think so?
Yeah. Well, you're definitely right. If you have special stuff, you're going to save it for Dark. But at the same time, I think that Maru's better enough than RagnaroK that it's like, why would you get fancy here?
You just don't need.
You don't, like, basics is how you're going to beat someone that you're way better than. You don't need to be fancy. Fanciness is for, like, your really sophisticated opponents, someone like Dark.
Right.
Dark or Rogue or
if you're bigger, faster, stronger than RagnaroK, why would you ever want to try to, use smoke bombs and caltrops and everything? It's like, no, I'll just beat him. I'll just take him down.
So this is different from RagnaroK, right? He's going 8 mutas.
Yes.
We don't have Baneling speed on the way yet. In fact, Baneling has just started. We don't have 1-1 on the way. The Evo's just started. So he's going to have very quick mutas popping out, but at the cost of much else, which makes me a little bit nervous for him. Sometimes when players are lagging behind on those upgrades, on those Banes, like, are these mutas going to pay off enough that Maru being up 2 upgrades for a big portion of time, and you not having Baneling speed to help hold off pushes, is that going to make it worthwhile?
So immediately Maru pulls these SCVs out of here. The Marines are going to come back. One muta immediately shot down, by the way. And, I mean, this is some damage, but will it pan out?
Like, it's good. It is. It's solid damage. There's no question.
Oh, I like this.
Yeah, combat shield. It's a nice little kickoff, I would say. Yeah,
oh my gosh, he's not going to get it though. So 1-1 finishes.
Yeah, this is what I'm worried about, right? Is if he does a push, you're up 2 upgrades and there's no Baneling speed. How do you eliminate an army with a decent amount of Marines?
In some ways, it's the same problem that we saw in Game 1. Okay, you killed off these SCVs, that's cool. But
yeah, it's a different type of.
You have no direct answer for the push.
And yeah, this one it's more like you have to have enough to slow him down, and the mutas have to cause enough of a problem.
By the way, combat shields is finishing. It was a second or 2 off from those mutas killing that.
Okay, so here's that fourth base. It's being sieged. Can he actually break through here? There is a drone in with those Banes, which is kind of funny.
Oh, there is.
Yeah.
He's going to go all the way to the back here. Yeah, he is catching some reinforcements, but honestly, this is a lot of lane kills here with these Hellions. And there's already still enough Marines to fight the Mutas, if I'm not mistaken. So he's killed off the hatchery.
He lost the fourth as well.
And Maru's
yeah.
going to be able to escape here. Excuse me, Maru's not going to escape. He's going to go kill more creep, but, I mean, that went perfectly for Maru.
Yes.
I think he'll take the losses that he had and know that overall, even if he loses parts of that battle, he's going to win the war. He killed off the hatchery. Same ideas as the last game.
I do want to be a little bit critical of Maru here. Where's that armory at? Why is his 2-2 not started? He's letting RagnaroK catch up in that regard. Now, here we go. Baneling speed is done. Maru, oh my god, losing quite a few units here. Some great connections. And of course, as soon as you win a real battle with Lang Bane Muta, the Mutas can kill off the medevacs, which is a huge bonus.
The punish is just so strong.
And that is a lot of Mutas. Look at these Mutas just go to town.
Yeah. Is he going to overextend, though? Is he getting too far in here?
I think he's doing a great job right now, as long as he doesn't lose all these Mutas. Look at that. He's killed so many, the drone even getting in on it.
GG!
Wow, I am really impressed and surprised on the way that that ended. That was very sudden.
I think that Maru should have turned around. You know, we were talking about after he killed the fourth. I said he's going to escape here.
Yeah.
He decided to not escape. Instead, he decided to commit further in there. And I think all he had to do was go back and regroup and rebuild and reform an even stronger push, and then go attack the fourth base again. But he overextended. He was a little bit too far out. You know, all those Marines were killed off in the counterattack. Or, you know, when they were trying to reinforce the main army, the Mutas killed them off.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting there, and I love the amount of Mutas that he made. I'm surprised that that's how it ended, but good play on RagnaroK, 1-1. Who
Get
knows?
over their production, man.
Yeah.
That many Mutas.
Yeah.
After you've killed all the Marines, the Mutas get to dominate. We're tied up 1-1 in an exciting twist. I didn't think RagnaroK would be able to take a game. All he has to do is do it one more time, and he'll cause the upset. Does Maru proxy this time? I don't know, guys. Let's find out. Game 3 is ready now.
전투 준비 완료.
Still no proxy racks.
진에어 그레이저 마루 조성주. 라그나로크 신입업.
So, excuse me. I think RagnaroK played an excellent game back there. I think that the loss was partially Maru's fault.
Yeah.
You know, he kept pushing. I think he was dominating so hard in game 1. I think he wasn't respecting the options that Zerg had. Zerg still had banked up a lot of Mutas. There was still a lot of creep spread out there. I think he tactically handled that push on the fourth very well, killing the hatchery off, and all he had to do was go back. So I think we might have the same kind of play style from Maru here as well, but when he gets a lead, he should be a little bit more conservative.
Yeah, and you know, there's so many different ways to play out a Mutalisk opener as well, and RagnaroK went with a very fun way, which is making a lot of Mutas, right? Sometimes you see him make far less there, and they're just kind of playing cleanup duty on medevacs. But very cool. I love to see it. And definitely makes the group more interesting, right?
Yeah.
That win over Maru, it's like, ooh, if he can win over Maru, he definitely can win over Innovation.
Yeah, for sure.
Innovation being the slouch that he's known as.
That's right.
God, he's the best Terran in the world for like 7 years.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty crazy group to try to ZVT your way out of it, but
Yeah.
I think Innovation's playstyle has historically been overall more straightforward. I mean, people kind of joke about it being robotic, but in some ways it's a really... Oh, good deny there.
Very nice.
Blocking the refinery.
I'm actually very excited for all the Zest matches today, too, because this guy throws such a monkey wrench into the group.
Yeah, well, he's got such good timing attacks here.
Well, Maru seems to be doing the same thing, right? There's the third command center off one gas once again. He has the reactor Hellions starting up. So, yeah, pretty much all the same stuff from him. What does RagnaroK do, right? Because we've seen two very different approaches. I love that
the queen blocks the hatch.
Yeah, he definitely did that on purpose.
Yeah, that was cool.
I like it. Tech Lab coming up.
Yeah, slow start here. Although we've seen a few little victories here from Maru. Killing the drone, slowing the hatchery down just slightly with the queen. Cool stuff there. But yeah, this is for Terran one of the slower starts here.
Yeah.
Do what pressure you can do. Get your SCVs out here. Eventually get your upgrades going. Finally get your barracks up. Start to assert yourself on the map.
Well, we see the stim starting up, so a little bit of a change here, even though it looks very, very similar. We're not going to see any Banshees or anything out of Maru. Instead, it looks like he's going to focus on getting a higher bio count a little quicker. Quick layer once again from RagnaroK. Now, if this is, and it looks like it is, the same build as last time, which would be Mutalisk heavy with later Evos, I think that Maru's build actually counters that a little bit harder this game, right? It's much less tech heavy. It doesn't have Banshees. It's not as Hellion focused.
Right.
Yeah, and I mean, he's just focusing on getting those upgrades out and those Marines out. And if you don't have, you know, the ample ground army, like Mutas don't just hold off Marines. It needs to be a very specific situation. And he actually gets a good scout off there.
Yeah, he sees, I think, enough to fill in the blanks.
He needs to throw. Okay, so he actually canceled something made of Spire. I'm not sure what that was.
I don't know what that was either.
I don't know. But anyways, I feel like when you see those barracks going down right now, you might want to consider throwing out the Baneling Nest and just focusing on getting Baneling speed quickly.
Yeah.
But it looks like he does want to get that peak in Mutas.
And again, this is a much lighter Hellion push. This is like a diet Hellion push. Yeah. Compared to what we saw in the other games.
It's more of a poke than a push.
But the infantry is going to be more robust in higher numbers because of this. It's a balancing act always for Terran. You know, which you get a lot of Hellions. They're good in certain situations. They're good, you know, the way that their damage is distributed based off the way, you know, the angle their shots fired. They can be very strong, but having more Marines means more units to stim, to micro, you know, to combo with the medevacs. And so this is it looks like a small adjustment, but it actually really impacts the game quite differently here.
Yeah. 9 Mutas on the way right now. Looks like Maru going to get a push going right away, which is definitely a smart move. It seems like he has kind of read this situation, that it's the same build as last game from RagnaroK. Sometimes that can be a very difficult thing, right? If you lose one game doing a strategy, then you win the next game doing a different strategy. You might feel like, well, God, maybe I should keep doing that strategy. It's right. Good at it, and maybe he's weak to it. But Maru has really adjusted. So look at this. Instantly cancels that fourth. And does 15 Lings and 9 Mutas beat this? No, I don't think so.
I don't think so. Okay, a stim comes down here. The Hellions try to soak up most of that damage. This just gets smashed. The Lings got on top of the Marines. I think the Hellions were supposed to be the draw here to you get the Lings on them. But, you know, once you take out the Marines, and the Mutas are unstoppable, being airborne. And, you know, again, a great punish there. 2 medevacs are shot down.
Yeah, very nicely done.
Already, this is looking very strong here for RagnaroK.
Sure, it definitely is. That was a very good pick-off on that entire army. But Maru, I'm not too afraid for him. He hasn't lost any of his economy. He did deny the 4th base, let's not forget there.
Right.
Okay. Obviously, RagnaroK had to produce a lot more units right there, so his worker count is not out of control as of yet either. And look at those upgrades. 2-2 is started for Maru, and we are not even 25% of the way done on 1-1 for RagnaroK.
That's right. RagnaroK continuing to roam with these Mutalisks. And anything you can hit, and even getting the gas here. This is great. Pick that off, slow down any kind of tacking. Look at all the upgrades coming over here on the production tab. RagnaroK continuing to power up. That 4th base is about to finish. He's got a great creep spread on the low ground. He needs to get some more creep up, elsewhere around here on the map, especially around his 4th base. But he's looking very good.
Yeah. Continuing to fly around, poke what he can, making lots and lots and lots of mutas. Drilling Claws on the way, though. The older counter. Very glad to see that being the choice from Maru here. Look at how many mutas he's making, though. That is crazy. He's going to have like 20 mutas.
Yeah, this is a really tough army to fight. Remember that Terran lost the first fight here. Marine count's lower. What's with medevacs, every fight you win, basically the Marines fully heal up. So knocking the Terran back over and over and over again is key. Because you win the fight, you take out the medevacs, you take out the Marines, and then everything is just smaller when the next push comes.
Yeah, the muta's still flying around, figuring out what they can do right now.
Baiting out stims if he can, burning through some of the medevac energy.
Maru is adding in some Thors.
Infestation pit started over here for RagnaroK. Oh my god, there's almost a surround of these Marines. Pretty crazy.
Yeah, looks like they will get out of there. Now those upgrades are going to be finishing up shortly here for Maru. And I feel like that is going to be a very important time for him to push out and actually put pressure on rather than just sitting back defending. But RagnaroK has stayed so mobile with this army that it is a little bit scary to move out, right? Like you got to be careful about that. If they get in immediately and do damage as you're moving out and then fly back to help defend, that's the worst case scenario.
Oh my god.
Oh, look at that sandwich.
That was really good play there by Maru, chipping off a few of those mutas on each side there.
Yeah, it was really nice. You can tell his map awareness is just beautiful here.
Yeah, great coordination with his units. But now is the key moment here for Terran. Terran has the opportunity now to try to push across the map. But this is a just wrecking ball of splash damage with this many banelings out here. And of course the mutas with the glaives and the lings just to make things even more complex here. Can RagnaroK hold Maru at bay? That's the question we gotta ask ourselves here.
And, they're both maxed out at this point. Let's not forget that we're up 2 upgrades on the Terran side. But yeah, it's very scary to actually engage on creep with this. How many Widow Mines does he actually have? That's what I really want to know.
Actually.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like he's actually produced that many. Like, he got Drilling Claws, but...
Whoa!
Ouch.
That was so much damage.
Yeah. Okay, he is making 3 mines at a time now.
Okay, as he sees the Banes come in here, he decides to pull away. He does have 1 medevac boost, giving him the chance to actually avoid all the mutas destroying that.
Yeah, look at this army, right? This is mostly Marines, a couple tanks, a couple Thors. Mass Ling Bane can have its way with that, right? I mean, it's very high damage output, but health-wise, those Banelings, if they get their connections, it's going to be very rough. See?
Not terrible, though, for Terran, but I am worried. This is a lot of Banelings that are out here now. Here comes another moment where this army just cannot fight this. Widow Mines do not get there in time, and he actually manages to save that. The mutas, had they gone a little bit further forward, would have been hit by those Widow Mine attacks. And now we've got a push over here on the bottom from Maru.
Yeah, we're even in upgrades, so it looks like he's going to run over and see what he can get done. Pushes some Lings and Banes past everything, and it looks like he should be able to clean it up.
Good pickups. He does escape. I don't know where those Beetlesis are. Oh, here they come now.
Oh my god.
Is
with the
RagnaroK
Ling
gonna
Bane
win this
coming
game?
out. I mean, it's not looking too bad right now. He is on his hive tech as well.
Maru keeps scrambling to try to come in here and save the remnants of his army, but at the same time, he's risking losing those reinforcements as well.
You know, it does feel like he's just a little bit low on mines overall, right? Like, we saw a couple tanks, a couple Thors there, but this is a very fast-moving game, and, you know, like, I feel like Ling Bane Muta doesn't care about siege tanks as much, right? Like, they aren't going to give you steady damage all the time. It's the Zerg player is going to reposition, take it from the right angle, and it's going to be very hard for you.
Nice attack in here. Terran now has 2 more bases, both at 12 o'clock. And yeah, I mean, we're getting this map, by the way, especially seems to make for some very long games.
Yeah,
especially in this
almost.
matchup. But Maru is very strong at this phase. Where we're in the super late game. There's so many different bases. There's so much to keep up with on both sides.
What's he really added for a late game, though, right? He's got his 3-3, sure.
He's kind of stuck on layer composition, right?
He's a good, yeah, he's got a good medevac count. He's actually got 7 mines now, so we're getting up there a bit more. But I guess, you know, against Lingbane Muta, it's not like you want to do anything else right now. Like, Ghosts are not going to help you, and Liberators are not really going to help you either.
Right.
All right, Maru kind of being everywhere right now. So he is going to push into here once again. Has a good Marauder count as well that he can hide behind.
I think Maru's beginning to break them here.
Yeah.
The numbers just thinning out. I think RagnaroK had enough to hold for the whole game, but he never had a completely killing blow here on Maru. Maru never really overextended either.
It's kind of funny to see his choices right now. He's making 7 more Mutas at the moment, which, I mean, Mutas are pretty good, but right now, are they doing a lot? Like, what's the plan with this huge Muta swarm? Right, and he's on 93 drones, but we don't yet see Ultras being produced.
Yeah, this is a good point. It's like he had that tech there, but he never really filled it in.
Yeah. Like, Lingbane Ultra defensively on creep beats this type of composition. That's why you see people get into Ghosts, get into Liberators, things like that when the Ultras come out. So if he can stay alive, I mean, with this type of drone count, with these great upgrades, he might be able to make something happen.
I like these surrounds over here.
Yeah.
RagnaroK actually swatting away 2 different attacks.
Look at all those medevacs. My God. Okay, Ultra's speed going to be finishing up here. There is an Ultra out and another one on the way. That's not that many yet. I don't think you necessarily need like 10 Ultras or anything, but probably more than 2. This creep spread has really been pushed back, which I think is an issue. If he had creep above his natural in that area where, you know, that's like, it feels like the place where we've seen countless hatcheries die.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's an almost impossible spot to hold.
Well, it's like...
It is also no creep at the very bottom right.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's another pushable location.
Maru has been on top of everything, it seems. Okay, so you're going to force a cancel there pretty easily. Looks like Ling's going for a counter.
I like this pickup here. Will he actually stop these both from finishing?
No, but maybe just kill him.
Yeah.
Wow, they did
a lot of damage,
so quickly.
man.
Jeez, 3-3 Adrenalings are pretty all right. God. I tell you, 22 years of StarCraft, and it still makes me laugh when I see +3 Adrenalings kill stuff.
Yeah.
When they kill buildings, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
How does anything die that quick?
They only cost minerals. Zergling costs less than 1 supply.
Just Adrenal makes them attack so quick, and they're doing 8 damage at that point. Well, take away the building armor, but still, it's like ridiculous.
Okay, another attack in here. Terran seems to have enough. Pushing back and thinning out this Baneling count.
All right. The Maru is just keeping so much pressure on, but we do have some Ultras being added in. That gets picked off in like a millisecond. But enough Banelings to clear this out. The thing is, there's no punishment really on these medevacs, right? The Muta's killed 1 medevac, maybe 2 medevacs there.
Well, he's just squeezing the Zerg so much here.
Oh, looks like he's actually going to get a few more. I feel like this type of thing is so much more important than a lot of people realize.
Oh, yeah.
Picking off medevacs, that's really kind of the long term where Maru continually is gaining value out of those over time.
Well, it's not just that they're going to stop their healers, but then if they get into a fight they can't win, they can no longer pick up and run away.
Yeah.
Which really limits the options for Terran.
All right, having a hard time fighting off creep there. Maybe getting a little bit over eager. Ooh, I like it. I like it. Doesn't do that much, but these types of moves are important too, because now that Bioforce that just came up here isn't killing a hatchery somewhere. In the meantime, Maru keeping that creep away, and especially that area I think is really, really important. Oh my God! 29 kills!
That's even more than I thought.
Oh man, well that was brutal. Oh. But yeah, that area, this area right here, I feel like this is so important because it's defending soon-to-be 4 Maru bases.
By
As
the
long
way-
as he keeps it under wraps.
By the way, we're getting to the point in the game that you and I were talking about Maru getting into in the super late game, where he almost looks like he's the Zerg player. Like he'll end up actually out expanding against the Zerg.
Absolutely.
Like we have right here.
Yeah.
I almost wonder if Zerg was supposed to open this area up with the rocks, because Terran can use this as a bottleneck.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think that would be useful. But look at this. He's getting on top of this. Maru actually using some of his snipes here on the mutos because he realizes a lot of his medevacs are going to fall. I think this is great play from RagnaroK to reduce this count once again.
Nice snipes again there.
Maru very quickly dealing with that.
When you see Terran be aggressive on that spot on the map, in a weird way, it actually protects the upper left 2 spots there.
Yeah, no,
It's
that's.
just-
I think that's the most important aspect of this late game is that Maru has been so aggressive in that area. He's been making sure creep, like, literally never stays on the high ground there. Because if you get any sort of creep spread up there, suddenly the attack is so much easier.
Nice snipe there on the Ultra. Oh my gosh. There's no. Oh, yeah, it's just
Yeah,
manually
good explode
detonates there. Yeah.
Yeah.
But now he can push down here. I love watching
time now.
Ghost get stutter step microed.
Yeah.
GG, Maru closes it out. But I'll tell you what, RagnaroK looks really good.
Yeah, that was quite a nice series. He really put up a good fight. He had a couple of surprise engagements there where he did a lot better than I thought he was going to.
And I think you have a game like that, you can't really beat yourself up if you're RagnaroK.
Losing 1-2 to Maru?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going all the way to late game and holding your own. I mean,
Maru could be the best player in the world right now. Like he is
might win
right
this tournament.
up there. Yeah.
So in a weird way, it's probably a game where you think, all right, I didn't make it, but I still have a shot.
Yeah, and that's the hardest opponent he should have in this group. Innovation should be a little bit easier version of Maru, kind of. And then Zest, like, I think ZVP is just a little bit more doable. It's a little bit more volatile than ZVT.
Yeah. And I think it's fair to say that Maru will probably just get out of this group, so RagnaroK won't have to face him again.
Most likely.
We're going to go to a short break. When we come back, our second best of 3.